be so wonderful. Hey, everyone. How's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with podcast number 299 with OMI Homie Janie. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi.
Hey, Dashi.
Now, as a little opener, today's podcast with OMI Homie Janie, an influential person in the VeVe world, entertainer, and co-host of VeVe's own Whatnot stream. There are two groups of people who will watch this. Those who already love Janie, and those who love Janie but don't yet know it. Janie's the sister I never had, the friend everyone wants, and the group mom we all need. There are many things that your body does that you can't control. Falling asleep when you don't mean to, flatulating at the worst moments, and smiling when being around Janie. Today we'll talk about what gives her big life energy that everyone loves, what it's like working for what could be $1 trillion company one day, and of course, our favorite thing to annoy VeVe Magic with, Gilmore Girls. Yum, yum, yum.
Oh, that's so sweet, Randy. Thank you.
No problem. I had a couple of daddy sodas and I decided to write a quick blurb about y'all.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate those words. Wow. Thank you.
Oh, of course, of course. Now, there is a pressing question on everyone's mind, and it's going to be well, I guess there's a bunch of questions on everyone's mind, but one of them obviously going to be like, what the heck are y'all talking about? What is this Gilmore Girls? What is
right?
if there was an alien that came down to Earth, and there's like, okay, explain Gilmore Girls to them. Like, pretend that they know English, they learned English on the World Wide Web, but they don't necessarily know pop culture. How would you explain Gilmore Girls to this alien?
So I would say to the alien, hello, sir alien. I always knew that y'all were real. Welcome. And I don't think that you can live another second of your life, of your existence in this realm of living without watching Gilmore Girls, because it is so much fun. It follows the story of a mom and her daughter, and like all of these very different, fun, wild characters. And it's just their life, like throughout like their journey, and how they kind of grow up together, how they love each other, how they support each other. And it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. It's
Because
just
you're
a
laughing
lot of
so
fun.
hard.
Yes. And it'll just bring you a lot of joy. So you definitely need to watch Gilmore Girls, sir alien, who I knew existed all along.
I how do you think because we have maybe as a distraction for other things, we don't have to get too far into it, but the president has recently said to release all the files on alien life and unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs and UFOs and all that jazz. How do you think Lorelai and Rory would react to this day and age where alien life is about to be thrown out there for everyone? Would they go in and make Alf references? Would they go in and reference Dana and Scully or Mulder and Scully? What do you think their reactions would be to the aliens?
Uh, I think Lorelai and Rory would be very welcoming to the idea. I think they're like really two open souls, and I think they'd be much like me. Like, I knew they existed all along, especially Lorelai. Lorelai is like really open, like she's just says like wild stuff all the time, and yeah, I kind of feel like they would be excited.
Yeah, I think they would be too. They'd
Yeah.
probably be like, oh, I wonder if they can, what type of food they have, what type of entertainment they have. Like,
Do they have
they,
coffee?
yes, alien coffee, something more
Alien
powerful
coffee.
than caffeine. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
something that
Mm-hmm.
goes in and, although I don't know how much of it, I mean, clearly some of the caffeine, but how much of it is that versus like the taste? Because you have one episode, Lorelai wanting to make coffee at Luke's, and he's like, "Well, wait, you like it strong. Most people don't like it that strong." And Lorelai says, "Then I shall convert them." So
Hmm.
I think some of the reason she likes coffee is because of the mouth pleasure and the taste. Um, so do you think if there was a way that she could get caffeine, like in one episode, Rory has a community service and this one chick has like 4 nicotine patches on her. Do you think that Lorelai would be open to a caffeine patch, or would she be like, no, no, that is too?
No, I definitely feel like she needs to have the drink. She is not just about the caffeine for them. It's definitely about the taste. Um, and sometimes she needs a caffeine, sometimes she just likes the taste, I feel like. That is such a funny episode though. And that's actually the I don't know if we're gonna get into like different seasons and stuff, but that's actually like a hard season for me to watch because that's when Lorelai and Rory kind of separated when she's
The
doing the
rift.
community service. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the rift was hard.
Gossip Girls. Gossip Girls, it's
Emojis.
Gilmore Girls emoji.
I I I had for a while, Gilmore Girls is how I like connected with girls. And then Gossip Girl came on, and a lot of girls are like, I don't watch Gilmore Girls, but do you watch Gossip Girl? I'm like, no, and I didn't.
I never
But
watched
yeah,
Gossip Girls.
so I mean, it came on in 2000, 2001, 2000, 2000, September 2000, and I didn't watch at that time. I started watching in like '04 maybe. Um, Catching up on ABC Family and I think I bought the DVDs after because it was great. But at the time before Gilmore Girls, we'll have 2 timelines here. We'll do BGG and AGG, before Gilmore Girls and after Gilmore Girls. And before Gilmore Girls, I think 2003. I guess I was watching like Scrubs, like Friends reruns, maybe Everybody Loves Raymond, kind of into comedy, but a lot of comedies from the '90s, and Gilmore Girls was very on the cusp of that. Definitely had a lot of some '90s humor, but also their own. What were you watching? What was your main thing before Gilmore Girls? What were you watching, binging and rewatching before then?
That's so tough for me to remember. So I guess I was in high school or middle school at that time. I remember just watching a lot of like Real World. I watched like a lot of like music stuff, so like music videos like on MTV and like BET shows. I was never really I've never been into a show like I am Gilmore Girls, honestly. Like where I could watch it over and over again. Other than Avatar, The Last Airbender. Those are my two. Gilmore Girls and Avatar. Like that I
Oh,
can yeah. Yeah. So but I mean I obviously I watch shows that are like but not like I do Gilmore Girls where I rewatch them. So before Gilmore Girls, I can't say that I had like a show that I would watch. Uh well, I don't know if this is like it can be considered because it's still like ongoing, but Law and Order. I used to watch Law and Order SVU
okay, yeah,
like on and off, but like I never like if it was on TV, I would just put it on. But yeah, nothing that I was like into like I am Gilmore Girls for sure.
yeah. There's
And also fun fact, I didn't start watching it when it came out. I watched maybe like a few here and there
yeah.
over the years. I didn't really get into it until it hit Netflix. And I'm like, oh, hey, I remember liking this show.
Wait, when did it hit Netflix?
I
I
don't
know it was
know.
years after.
Yeah, it was a long time after. Actually, I didn't watch Avatar, The Last Airbender, when it came out originally either. I
Oh,
watched that. Yes, I know, which is the saddest thing ever, but I didn't know of it back then. I watched Avatar Last Airbender. I feel like how long I think Avatar is about to celebrate their 25 years
well,
or they
Avatar came out in
already
'05, so
oh
it but it finished in '09. So it probably didn't go on Netflix until like the 2010s. Um,
right,
I
right,
mean,
that would
maybe
have
it
been
went
the
on
time. No, because
because
I
you
started
have
watching it when Max and I started kind of dating.
what year was that?
So, '09.
Okay. Okay. So
So
so it
it's
might
been
have been.
like
I guess what's on Netflix then?
yeah, I don't know if I started watching it right away. I think it was like a year or two after because I remember watching an episode and I'm like, hey, I really like these kids. Like I love them.
Yeah.
So and then I'm like, wait, I want to keep watching it, and I still watch it to this day. Like I've rewatched Avatar maybe like 5 times all the way through, and then I put some episodes that I like here and there.
Yeah.
And Gilmore Girls, I think I'm on my 6th or 7th time rewatching.
Hell yeah. I for so there's a lot to unpack there. Avatar. First off, everyone, whenever we get Avatar, I have $1,000 bounty on the number 20, or I'm sorry, 2005 Avatar mint number. I know that's going to be completely blown out of the water by whatever Comics and Crypto puts out, but that's what I got.
I need to have all of them.
Yeah.
This is
So
one where I'm like, I told Max already, I'm like, I need to have any Avatar stuff, I need to have them.
yeah, I'm going to go hard on that as well. At top, who's your favorite Avatar character?
That's so tough for me. I love Katara. I love Aang. If you ask Max, he'll say Appa. We love the Cabbage Man. Like,
Cabbages.
I love Boomy. Uncle Iroh. Like, I mean, there's just so many classic characters. I can't just pick one, Randy. I'm not a favorite type of person. Like, I need to have like a bunch. I love Aang too. Toph. Toph was my kid's favorite. And I actually met the voice actor at DCon the second time. Yeah.
I love her
Yeah.
so freaking much.
Yeah, she is so cool.
She's so Toph is my favorite. Like that is like
Oh, Toph is your favorite? Okay.
yeah, Sokka's a close second because in a world where you're surrounded by benders, he still finds a way to be like I don't want to say useful because everyone can have their uses, but like to be an effective not just part of the team, but essentially a leader as well. Like he's the one that comes up with the plans. He's the one that, and the one episode where they're running from Azula, Mai, and Ty Lee because they're tracking Appa through his hair.
Oh yeah.
There's like, all right, let's stop running, let's just fight. And then Toph's like, and even 3-on-3. And then Sokka's like, there's 4 of us. Like, well, I wasn't counting you. And he's like, why weren't you counting me? He's like, okay, 3-on-3 plus Sokka. Like he learns every nation's martial arts. He obviously learned water, being in Southern Water Tribe. He learned what's the name from Suki, being one of those. What were they called? The not the Dai Li.
No, the
Kyoshi Warrior.
Kyoshi Warrior. Thank you.
Yeah. He learns that from airbending. He learns all of the nation's martial arts, and I was like, that's really cool. And just being a non-bender in that. So he's my second. But Toph is just peak. I just love her so much. Connection to animals, her connection to just the earth, seeing things that others miss because they're not looking the right way. Like what even in her intro at the end when Toph says, even that group of ants over there, and Aang doesn't even see them because he's not seeing that way. He only chooses to see with his eyes, not with being one with the earth. And I was like, fudge, that's so good.
Wait, so then what bending abilities would you have? Would it be earth then?
I'd probably, if I was born in that world, I'd probably be like Sokka, where I probably wouldn't have a bending ability, but I would.
So not true, bro. So not true.
What do you think I would be?
Oh man, I feel like you would be air.
Why air?
I feel like since I've met you in 2021, you have this connection to people and to the universe in a very soulful way. And I feel like that's why it reminds me of like Aang and airbending and stuff. So I love that you love Toph. I mean, Toph is super cool, man. She's a badass.
Yeah.
But I don't see you as an earthbender. I see you more as airbender. For
Okay.
sure, just because of that. Aw, hey, best
Man,
friend.
the
Sorry,
magic.
I haven't even looked at the comments because
I
I'm
haven't either
so
for a bit.
like,
I was so enthralled in this conversation. Yeah, I did.
yeah,
I was doing a
same.
bad job. Um,
That, but yes,
I
I definitely. I mean, that's just my opinion, just from knowing you over the years and like interacting with you on, like at the events and like talking to you about different stuff. I just feel like you have a more in-depth way of just being, and that could be being with like people or being in your environment or being in like what you love and your passions. Like you just have this different way of being that's super in depth, and is just I feel like it is grounded, like it like in earthbending, but it's more like open and airy and bubbly, like airbending. So I connect you more with that. Hey, maybe you might be an avatar.
that'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
I'm not a strong swimmer, so I don't know if I could be a waterbender, but the Avatar. I mean, I love, yeah, I love learning all. Maybe like the OG Avatar, Avatar Juan, that he just, he starts with one and he goes to the other lion turtles and he gets all of them. That would be that'd be a great like hero's journey. That'd be a great. I I don't know if I would have earned that though. I feel like out of all, well, I guess because we don't really go. We go into the past a little bit. Like we see Avatar Kyoshi, you see
Hmm.
other avatars, but we don't really get into one where that like a Wolverine type where they do the right thing but for the wrong reasons. Um, I don't and I don't say I don't know if I'd be like that. Um, I would like to be there. There's a in Star Wars. There's a really like a god tier move. So for the Sith, if you become powerful enough, you can shoot lightning out of your um, and in Avatar you can firebenders can shoot lightning as well. But there's also firebenders like Zuko that can redirect it. In Star Wars, there's Yoda. This is a god tier. Nobody else can do this. He can take the lightning and absorb it and recharge his own like battery through that, which is insane.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I would love to be considered like if there's like a Pottermore quiz, like you determine what house you're in, but like with
Right,
Avatar,
right.
that'd be fun to take. Um, I would see you as a waterbender because I
Yes.
feel like, oh, okay, good, we agree.
Yes, yes, yes. That would be, we were talking about this the other day, and yes, that would be my thing, waterbending. But tell me why, tell me why.
Because so in for people that don't know, in Avatar, you can tell by Legend of Korra because it's like a timepiece where okay, there's not really a lot of tech. Like in one episode, they go in and the Earthbender scientists, engineers have like these air balloons where they can drop off, these bombs and they have air balloons and they have some drilling, but um, you don't really know exactly what time period they're in until you get to Legend of Korra, where it's like, okay, they're in like the 1920s. There's cars, there's vehicles, technologies that had a little bit step up. Um, so back in the day, in the original Avatar, there's a lot of sexism. Like Katara doesn't even get to learn how to bend right away. The only reason she does is because the guy that's teaching Aang happened to have been like a simp for like her grandma or like he had a relationship with her
Oh
grandma
yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And that's the only reason he chooses to teach a girl. And he's not just this like, okay, well, most society's actually pretty chill. He's just like one of the outliers. No, he's the leader of the Northern Water Tribe, and he's still this way. So you can be damn sure that that's what he was teaching a lot of his disciples before he met her. And whether he changed that afterwards, I don't know. But Anyway, just for you seem like a woman like healer. Like you seem like to really encompass like I love you through just your energy of being happy, your smile. You're just it's hard to be in a bad mood around you. And I think that
Oh, Randy,
a
thank
lot
you.
of I think that a lot of times people, especially men, but people in general, a lot of them are like touch starved. And even without, I feel like you're like a wireless charger where even because like if you like, you know, you're out like being a hermit for a while and you see like your boy's friend, whatever, what's up, bro? You're always like, oh, human connection. Haven't had that in a while. It recharges your battery. I feel like I can get that around you even without like the embrace of physical. Just being around your energy is that wireless charger, and I feel that's very the same energy that waterbender healers give off of, which are mostly women because that's the only thing they were allowed to do. But I could definitely see you as a water. I don't know if I think everyone can have a little bit of a dark side to them. I don't know if you could maybe like bloodbend. That's a very, very dark. I mean, you know, maybe on like a full moon in like a rage when you know, like it's
I
Ash
was
Ketchum's like, oh,
actually
feel
I was actually going to touch base on that because
yes.
I connect with Katara so much because of the healing aspect, right? Like I feel like personally I love to make sure people feel loved and cared for, and like when they're around me that they feel safe, and if they're feeling anything that they don't like in the moment, like I do, if they want to talk to me, like I feel like I can be supportive and loving. So like that side of Katara, like the healing side, I really connect with. Now the blood bending, I I kind of connect with that too, in the sense that I Katara didn't know that she was going to learn something that was so powerful. And also, what's the word? So in
Devastatingly potent.
and like invasive to somebody's like psyche and like spirit. When you can control somebody on like a DNA like blood level, that is like a power that it kind of reminds me of the last movie of Harry Potter when he's holding the what's the Elder Wand? Is that the most powerful wand? And he just
Yeah.
kind of breaks it. I mean, he's the most powerful wizard, right? He just breaks it and throws it away. Like Katara didn't know she was like, just like Harry Potter, he didn't know that he was gonna have that wand. She didn't know that she was going to learn something so like powerful, like to the point where you can control somebody. She learned it, unfortunately, even beyond like her own want, still has that knowledge, but doesn't use it for evil, or doesn't use it for bad, or doesn't use it to like really try to control people, unless she's um feels like she needs to protect somebody that she loves. That's what I would do. If I had to protect someone that I would love, I would go to any extreme to make sure that the people that I love are okay and protected and safe. You know,
I,
so I respect her for that. I respect her for knowing the knowledge, protecting that knowledge, and using it just for the people that she loves and cares about.
I think this is something I haven't thought of before until now, but in the first season, like Aang just master airbending, but they're like learning together. Like it's seen that it
Mm-hmm.
shows that Qatar is a very gifted waterbender, but even
Mm-hmm.
her is being outpaced and outlearned by the Avatar because he's learning waterbender faster than she is, and she's like, and you see her like deal with that in an episode. But something that I think, and I'm sure has been discussed by others, is okay. You get Toph, you get Sai, you get all of these people that are I don't want to say getting into their prime, but they're the by season 4, they're the best they've ever been. Like they
Mm-hmm.
are going in and they kind of maybe rely on Katara a little bit less. So I don't know whether this was circumstance or whether she was looking for someone, but that episode she becomes the Lady of the Night or the Lady of
Mm-hmm.
Water. Like I
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's her saying like, okay, these people I've been mothering no longer need me, so I'm going to find somebody else to mother. It's like that scene in Tarzan, where the mother gorilla is like, I'm going to be his mama now. Like that. Maybe that's her saying like, I'm going to. Maybe that's her just nurturing, protecting. She doesn't bloodbend, I think, with that. I think she just does the water bending.
No. Right.
But yeah, that was a great episode. Those great times. Did you see Legend of Korra?
I haven't, but we went to go visit Max's grandma, which is actually so good for the soul, yesterday, and she made some of like one of my favorite dishes, mole, and I was so excited. But anyway, Max's younger cousin, I don't know how we got on the topic of Avatar, but we were talking about Avatar, and he loves anime, but he loves Avatar as well. So we were talking about Avatar, and all this stuff about Avatar, and like the powers, and like, different like episodes and stuff. And he's like, have you seen Legend of Korra? Like, he's like, I wouldn't say it's the same, it's different, but you should watch it if you love Avatar. And I have tried to start, like, I've watched maybe the first episode, maybe I started the second one. I need to, but I have not watched it yet. And I mean, spoilers, I don't know if anybody wants to watch Legend of Korra, but like, I've been told that during Legend of Korra, she loses the Avatar ability or the power. So like, I'm interested to see what that journey looks like, and what happens after. So yeah, I definitely need to watch it. Have you? You've watched it?
Many times.
Yeah.
So I will say this, that if you go from just a casual viewer's IMDb page, like, Avatar is a better show by a decent margin, especially the first two seasons. The first season is good. Like, okay, this is different. This is interesting. Here's the villain. So each season has its own villain. Season two is like, so again, Avatar is, I can admit, the better show by a decent margin. I like Korra better. I like the show Legend of
Really?
Korra better. Yeah, because
Wow.
in Avatar, you have, again, it's amazing and I love it. Probably one of the best, if not the best, cartoons that Nickelodeon's ever put out. I'm so glad we're getting it. Is great, but you have these kids. They're 10 to 14, 15, however old Sokka is at the end, and they're learning from like kind of these old guys. Bumi's 100, Uncle Iroh's 60s. Like, you don't really get, like, aside from Fire Lord Ozai, you don't really get like a Bender in their prime. Maybe Sparky Boom Man, but he's kind of a one-off. But in Legend of Korra, all of these guys are like, the main team Avatar is like 16 to 22, and then the old guys are all like late 40s, early 50s. They're not like old. They're older, so you get really more of, and then also the bending becomes more of a sport where people are like, okay, here's what it was, here what it is right now. And it's like, if you go into like a professional bending arena, only knowing the bending that you had from like 80 years ago when Avatar Aang was still around, it's like, you're gonna get rocked. You're gonna get like God, because it's evolved the same way sports evolve. And so the bending gets better, and then the villains get better too. Like the Fire Lord Ozai, which I didn't know until like years ago, was played by Mark Hamill, like played by Luke Skywalker. I didn't know that was him. He is kind of a cookie cutter villain, like super racist, super bit, super just like wants to take over the world, like, But in Legend of Korra, you see the reasons behind the first, but the third season villain, Kuvira, I was kind of rooting for her. I was like, no, she's got a point. Like, this is, this is what like Superman versus Batman should have been. So the villains, I think, are better. The bending is better. You get a little bit of an older team. So that's kind of my pitch on why you should watch it. Even though season 2 is, you have to get through it. You have to power through, because most people like hate that season.
How many seasons is Legend of Korra? Do you
There's
remember off the top
4,
of your
but
head? 4.
there's 4, but I will die on the hill that season 3 is just as good, if not better, than OG Avatar. Like season 3 is that good.
Bro, that's a wild statement. Okay, now
Season
I'm
3
gonna
is
have
that
to
good.
really watch it. That is, I don't know about that. I know, right? I was totally Booth 77777. I'm not judging, but I'm a little bit judging because, like, what? Late
Booth's
40s, early 50s is old.
Booth's a
That's
young
crazy.
kid. He's in his 20s. He also thought I was in my 40s and maybe 50, because I was referencing Zoe 101. He's like, "Why are you watching Zoe 101?" I was like, "Came out when I was a teenager." And he's just like, "Oh, I thought you were like 50." And I was like, "The heck?"
Ah, Booth. Just wait until you hit like your late 20s and like your 30s, and then you'll be like, man, 30s isn't, 40s won't be that old. 50s is really not old. Where I feel like you're old is like 80 and
I
above or so.
I feel like me coming from Peru, I feel like the average Peruvian doesn't, they don't live past like 65. So if you're 50, you're like, oh, last few years, third world countries are interesting.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, bro, because some people like from our motherlands like live till they're like 100. Like
Where are
with
you from again?
living
Where does your
Costa
family hail
Rica.
from? Costa
Costa Rica.
Rica.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah, like I mean, some of those people are like, I mean, my grandpa was like 97. He passed away. Hey, Fadi Jay, I love that. That's so cute, JJ. Um, yeah, he was like 97 or something. He passed away a few years back. Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, but I mean, I just feel, yeah, I can see that side, but I also see like maybe there's like um eating cleaner, you know,
Yes.
and like less preservatives and like all of that stuff. Like Max always has like this really fond memory of my grandpa when we went to visit him like years ago when Max proposed to me, like ooh back. My grandpa had this house and it was like a big like land, like it was a lot of land. He was actually selling it, and my grandpa just like moseyed on to like the back, and there's like hills and stuff, so like it's kind of like rocky and muddy and stuff. And then he comes back, and on the back of his on his back he's like carrying this like bunches of like bananas, and he like puts it over on a table, and he's like, Max, I brought this for you, all of these bananas. And Max was like, that is so cool. Like he just went to the back of like we don't even know where, and cut down these bananas, and he's like gifted me these bananas. And Max is so cute. He was like, that's really cool, babe. And I'm like, yeah, it was really cool. And those were some bomb bananas. But I mean, I think it's just it can be like a stressful type of living, but also kind of like peaceful. You know, they don't. It's more well and in Peru. I'm not sure. I do have a friend that's from Peru, and her mom is actually in Peru right now. She just went to go visit family, but I've heard that there's like some crime there. I don't know how
Yeah.
much. So I guess like every country is different in that aspect, but yeah, yeah. How did we get on this Peru and Costa Rica conversation?
Booth was saying that when you're
Oh,
old, you're
yes, yes, yes,
old.
yes,
And
yes,
then I was
yes,
like,
yes, yes.
average Peruvian dies at like 65.
Yeah.
Um,
Now save it. Bro,
uh,
that is so wild. Booth, you're being so wild right now. I
he-
wonder if Booth will tell me how old he thinks I am.
Booth,
I don't know if
you take care and how you respond to that, Booth.
I'm so
I just wanted to,
curious.
hey, thanks for all the streams, contents put out almost every day, except when you're on a trip. Oh, even then, without fail, even when you're sick, you have given VeVe the best marketing. 10 out of 10. Oh, thank you, thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that.
I as much as I do the part of the reason why VeVe is going to get to that next level, particularly in Web 2, is because of you and Max doing the Whatnot streams. Because like there's only so much right now with the audience in Web 3, what they can do on digitally. But up until you guys started the Whatnot streams, it was just, hey, at these physical conventions, buy this addiction comic or buy this physical, KFC thing or the, VeVe Fig pin. And there's been only so many things that they could buy, but now they could buy it from the comfort of their own home. They don't have to travel. Like, oh, yeah, I'll totally buy this. Saying I don't have to go anywhere physically to buy it. I could just do it right here. I think that in the future, and I messaged David about this not too long ago. I'd probably bring up the message. I want to see what you think of it. Oh God, it was a while. Said, I had a thought this morning. Elon shut down productions of Model S and X vehicles in California. He's doing it to make Optimus robots. I see VeVe's Whatnot arm of the business being one of the biggest. Max and Janie can train others, and you can hire new, younger people who are hungry and can do it cheaper, and it can essentially run 24 hours a day while they go on to do bigger and greater things. With the physical and digital product lines that you're going to get going, those Optimus robots will be able to package up all the inventory the streamers can sell. I'm so heckin' pumped at where VeVe is going. And so right now, you guys have been doing it for several months, I believe. What's the funnest part about that? Is it getting ready for the stream? Is it doing the stream? Is it afterwards? Like how much we sold, and then packaging it up, spending time together. Tell me all about it.
I will say this. I'm going to speak a little bit about this because I feel like if we're gonna dive into it, I really, really need Max here. So we can both talk about it. But I will say a little bit. I want to say for me, the funnest has been like the journey. Randy, like seriously, I remember when Max has been talking about not just Whatnot, but like live selling for like 2 or 3 years. I'm like, he was like, babe, we need to do something. We got to figure something out. Like like he's been talking, just like he talked about VeVe 32. Boo! Thank you, bro. That's so sweet. Okay. I really appreciate that. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Thank you. We'll just leave it at that, Booth. Yeah, I'm 32 years old. But he has Max has a way, I don't know how he's just kind of gifted that way. Like he talked about live selling like he talked about VeVe. Like he's like, VeVe is going to be, like we're talking about in 2020, 2021, when we first found out about VeVe and started this journey and where we ended up today, like how we are here now. Very passionate about it. So he had been on and on and on about live selling. And then he got this idea, right? And he's like, I'm going to talk to David about it. And I just remember when it happened, I could close my eyes and see it, of when he like pitched it. And David was like, yeah, let's do it. And Max was like, what? What? Like, okay, let's do it. And then we launched it. We did like tons of research. Max and I sat down like countless hours just talking strategy, talking about where we're going to go and like what we're going to start with. And our starting point was Whatnot. And then obviously we have ideas for others in the future, but now we have TikTok Live Shop. And that's exciting too. We have both of those going. I think yes. I will say it's really, really fun to work with Max. Obviously he's my husband and my best friend, but we don't like turn that off because obviously we have chemistry when we work together, like on a live stream. But it's when we talk about it and when we're planning everything, it's very business oriented. So I love working with him. We have a lot of fun. We have fun on the stream because we want to build this environment, kind of like how when we get together and we're at events, like where it's fun, like people feel like, hey, I want to come, even if like maybe I can't buy everything, you know, I can't buy all of the stuff that's for sale at the booth, or I can't buy stuff at the con, or I can't buy stuff at Disney, but I want to hang out with everybody. Like we want to build that environment, and Max and I believe that it's going to keep growing to where like there'll be buyers and people hanging out. I think that the fun part is creating that environment, but also looking into the future and our plans. We believe that this will bring more users in, and that's
I
what it's
agree.
about. Like we want to, we I love VeVe, Max loves VeVe. We're passionate about it. We've been doing this for, Randy, like we're what people consider like OGs 2021 or whatever when we started our little
Yes.
YouTube. Um and we want to see it grow because it's fun. It's a fun way of collecting. And I mean, we're talking about like this these different IPs, and like you and I are excited about Avatar, like coming, like, oh my gosh, like, and imagine if that excitement and that joy reaches, like, I mean, it's reached a lot of people already, but like global masses, like, and that's the fun part for me, because if I feel the joy and the excitement and the passion for collecting, and I'm a newer collector, imagine if more and more people can feel that. That's exciting to me. And if Max and I get to play a part in that, that is so cool. So cool. And I don't know how Max did it and how Max does everything that he does. I gotta really give him flowers as, like, yes, my partner, my husband, my best friend, but also he does so much content, directing, like organizing all of these live streams, and I get to help him, and like we get to work together. So it's fun. Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you. I said I wanted you to be on here so we could both talk about it, because it's really like his baby. And we're working on it together, but it's really Max's baby. And he has to be here with me when we talk about it. But I think that's the most exciting part, Randy. And I think
Yeah.
you see that too. That just the possibility of reaching more and more eyes. And I think I really believe in it. And that's what I'm excited about. Just like
I,
just like I believe in VeVe. I just think this is really a really cool aspect. And like I think you said, like an arm or like a branch of
yes.
VeVe. Yeah. So I'm very excited about it.
I believe that cream rises to the top, and there's a bunch that you could do with it. So there was one time, um, and I don't know if this was good or not, but there was one time where I was on some Lucy, and I was dating this chick, and I was like, you know what? And she's really smart. She's a veterinarian. She's just a really smart person. And I was like, how, if there was one way, if Earth was a video game, and there was one way you could be like the most powerful, the most influential person in order to change the world for good, what would it be? And she mentioned a couple of things, and we've had a discussion on what, you know, we think could be. And then one of the things she said was like maybe a Captain America type person. I was like, well, I tried that in military, like, and that kind of leads to a dead end. There's only so much you can do. And I was kind of getting down on myself for not being like the best. And she's like, well, you watch Friends, right? It's like, yeah, I love Friends. And she's like, well, back in the day, it was like 50 million people that watched Friends. And do you think that gave people happiness? I was like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, how do you not laugh like while watching that? And she's like, well, maybe you don't have to necessarily change the world just to bring about happiness. And you could change the world not through an invention, not through but just through writing. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I do think that, because I mean, just you in general, but you and Max also as a team. Um, Part of the reason I feel like David said yes is because I don't know if, I'm sure it's been verbalized, but part of the reason that people go to these events is, maybe to ask David questions, but for you as well, because you guys are, if I could quote Pirates of the Caribbean, part of the crew, part of the ship, and you guys are part of it, and they go to see, especially now, because you guys have only started doing it the last few months. So I feel like as live selling, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this a lot. It's like live selling is the thing everyone should be getting into right now. And you guys Mac's been ahead of the curve for years on this. David thankfully listened. And he's hopefully bonuses maxed out in a couple of years when y'all are like the biggest things. But also from this, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but you could, if you want to use VeVe as just like a platform to gain your audience. And again, once you train the newer people that are coming in the next year or so, you'd be like, okay, this stuff is great. This is what we worked on, but we can only grow so far in this. And you could use it to launch your own platform to do whatever. But I do want to ask you a little bit more about that, because we have somebody asking about the orange cloud. And there was an update about an hour ago where it said that the orange cloud reverse merger update, everything's still going according to plan. It has been delayed for X amount of time, but it is still very much on the way. Both companies are committed to doing this. Via the orange cloud merger, was your first thoughts like, hey, this would be a great opportunity for VeVe? Or is it like, well, in mergers, always people get fired? Do we, are our jobs in jeopardy? Or is this a good way to be able to take on more responsibility, get more, maybe a raise, maybe get more, just the ability to do more? I was curious your thoughts on when you first heard about it.
Well, when I first heard about it, I had to ask Max to kind of like explain it to me and see what the possibilities are. When Max was explaining it to me, I felt like it was a positive thing. Yeah, we do. I did think that was one of my initial questions. Like, does that mean that VeVe is going to downsize? Not in the sense of like Max and I, obviously, because we've like been on this journey with VeVe. I feel like we've met so many of the people that work for VeVe, and we care about so many of them. So that was kind of like my first. And I guess like the in the conversation with Max and I, we didn't think that was really going to be the case. It was more of like an add-on type thing. So I feel like if it's I kind of see it as like the more the merrier, right? Like there's more opportunity in that. So I'm kind of leaning towards optimism and hoping that it's going to be good, and I think it will be. I think that's all I got to say about that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Rogers said, I think VeVe has Pokemon. I think they'll announce when the bull run happens. Can't wait to see Randy's reaction. God, if they have it,
I can't wait to see that too.
For 24 hours. I'll probably do multiple 24-hour live streams, because there's just so much to cover over there. Like there's so much shakeup now, especially with the Paramount buying DC, or they're buying WB, which everyone, including me, has been going on and be like, okay, here's how I think VeVe can get DC Comics, because they're under WB and DC Comics be right next to Marvel every Wednesday. I think that's possible. But a lot of other people, like everyone's just been focused on DC and all the candy stuff, but they're not focused on like Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. And obviously WB has Gilmore Girls. So I think that it's possible that we get the Gilmore Girls license as well. I don't know how they do that.
Randy, I mean, Pokemon would be incredible for the culture. Obviously, there's so many people in our community that would just like go bananas for Pokemon.
I would clear out my bank account.
Yeah, and honestly, I have to be really transparent here. I never watched Pokemon. I wasn't I know, I'm sorry. I don't know much about Pokemon other than like Pikachu. But that doesn't mean that I don't love it. I love it on y'all's behalf. I really do. And I hope that one day we do get it. I hope that Who's this? Rogers one? What, Roger? Yeah.
Hard to
I hope
remember.
he's right. I mean, how cool would that be? I know there would be so many people like, yes, because we've heard when Pokemon for like over 5 years. So I would be like over the moon excited for y'all. But if we
Yeah.
got Gilmore Girls, if we got Harry Potter, oh my gosh. And I love Game of Thrones and what's the name of the sequel? House of Dragon? Is that right?
Oh yeah,
Am I
yeah.
making that up?
No,
I
no,
like
you're
that
right.
one too. I like that one too. So I mean there's just so Randy, there's so many IPs out there. You and I are sitting here talking about Avatar, talking about Gilmore Girls, but imagine like there's something that equates to Gilmore Girls and Avatar to other people and other IPs that they would be super excited to see. Like, I mean, the future is bright and the future has many possibilities. I don't know about Pokemon. Don't call me about the Pokemon thing. I just think that would be really cool.
It would break the app. It would there'd be so many signs. So in the last 3 weeks, so we had 300 people sign up this past week. We had 100 people the week before, and then we had 1,600 people the week before. That was probably mostly from the Orange Cloud reverse merger hype. But I think there's a lot of eyes on VeVe now, and it's like, okay, what? And I've also noticed somebody asked me the other day, is like, why doesn't VeVe ever like repost your stuff? And they repost to everyone else, and it's like, I have to tell everyone because it was asked in private. I was like, listen, guys, I'm a little too R-rated for VeVe. VeVe has an image to maintain. They have, they're working with hand in hand with Disney. They can't be reposting me. That's that's saying and doing some certain things. Again, Daddy Soda on live is probably not the best, thing. Anyway,
we call it being like in our suit and ties, right? Like we have to
yeah.
be like they have to be professional to a certain extent.
No.
That's funny.
But yeah, this would be I would go live. So I would be live perpetually, like forever. Just talking all the Pokemon stuff. If they do get Gilmore Girls, I mean, we should probably do this again, but we mentioned that the season you disliked the most was the rift between Rory and Lorelai, because Lorelai being, and again, we have to go way back for this because she was born in the 60s. She is ahead of her time, because the family and the time she was born into, you just, for her, a good elitist woman, like, okay, you go to good breeding, you go to a good high school, you go to a good college, don't really use the degree, you just marry a Yale man, you marry someone, and then you just be a housewife. You plan all the parties, which is not a bad life. But that's just what you did, and she wanted just more freedom. But then Rory, who also I would say is more of a product of her time, like the millennials were told you had to go to school. She didn't. She knew originally she wanted to see something. Christian Amanpour, be that type of person. I think that by the time the show ended, though, social media was in a way where I think Rory should have been smart enough to be like, well, I don't necessarily need this degree. I could just go, or definitely by the revival, you could just go with a cell phone to any part of the world and just vlog and just live stream. I think she would have done exceptional at that with her witticisms. If you were a guidance counselor, or if you were someone that Rory, maybe let's say if you yourself now can go to Rory at like 16, 18, 22, pick your time, what would you advise her to do? If she was coming to you for advice, if you met her and you just happened to be able to give it, she had a listening ear, what would you say to her?
About like journalism, like what she wanted to do at that time,
Could be
you mean?
I guess anything. I mean, depends on, I mean, let's say you're locked in an elevator with Rory for, 3 hours and talk about stuff. What do you say to her?
Oh man, there's so much. But I think let me go to the journalism thing, like how you were saying, because that's a conversation that we had with our kiddo too. I think back when we were growing up, Randy, like the ideal thing was to go to school, right? Go to school, get a career, and blah 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 blah. Now it's so different. Like I would say, like Rory, girlfriend, you are so smart. First of all, so knowledgeable, and I don't want to say this. I don't want to say this in like a way that that's the only thing that you need, but she's young, she's smart, she's beautiful, but she's charismatic. She can, like, you don't need to, if you want to go to Yale for the experience, that's great, but girl, go be a reporter right now. You got this. Like Randy's on live stream like every day. You can do it too, girlfriend. Like, and you got this. Like, go travel the world. And I mean, you have the funds to do it too. Like, you got your trust fund coming in. Go and be a reporter, girlfriend. You can do it. But I just think I think depending on where she is in her life, like another one that I would tell her is like, don't be scared, just go for it. For it. I think Rory is really open, really smart, like very dedicated and driven, but I think at times she was just scared and worried about, what am I going to do, what's the right move, oh no, let me settle down, like let me just not go to school, I'm not going to be this. Like, don't worry what these efforts say to you, like, you can go do it, give it. I always say, like, give it a shot. You one day we're all gonna get older, like Booth was saying, like at 40s we're damn near like done with our lives. One day we're gonna be at the end of our ropes in our late 40s. I'm just kidding. But we're gonna look back and say, what if we would have done that? What if we would have pushed ourselves? What if we would have been embarrassed for a little bit and just taken that shot, or not know what we're doing, but just go for it? Just go for it. Do it. Turn on the camera, or start painting, or write that song, sing it, post it, do it. Like, people have so many things to say about what people are doing. People have so many things to say about what people are doing, but the person that's doing it is actually fucking doing it. That's more than you could say about the person talking about it, So Max and I have this conversation all the time. Like, I rather go for it, and it's scary, Randy. It's not easy. Like, there's tons of conversations where, you have anxiety, or you feel overwhelmed, or you're worried about, is this the right thing to do? Or is this going to be fun for people? Are you going to, are people going to be impacted the way that you want them to be impacted? But I think I rather so much live with the fact that maybe somebody won't like it, than with the fact of me waking up and saying, what if I would have done that?
Yeah.
And not know.
Agreed.
So I would just tell Rory, go for it, girl. Don't be scared. I know it's scary and it's so hard to get past it, but you can.
Agreed. There's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, we see kind of the world through her eyes, where she's a bit sheltered. Even Lorelai says, like, couldn't get you to step on wet grass until you were 3. Like, she's a little. But, and also, even when she does thrive, she's thriving in her own little village, where the high school, that's like, she grew beyond that very, very quickly. She probably could have, probably should have skipped a grade in like middle school or something. But there's a scene in A Year in the Life, and I feel like this is something that's often overlooked, is that she does have an appreciation for music because of her mom, 60s, 70s, 80s, and then having her best friend Lane that also loves this, probably because her mom and dad, who we finally see in the revival, escaped from, like,
was cool.
Oh my God. I was like, no heckin' way. Oh my God, you're
Right.
dead. We, in the revival, we see, I guess it's, so that being Korean, this family probably escapes from South Korea at some point, or from North Korea at some point. You know, they leave. The mom even had her pray for the reunification of the two Koreas. So there's no real hostility towards North Korea. It's just like, hey, you know, love thy enemy. And yeah, again, she loves the rock and roll, like the rebel music. And in the revival, Rory meets Paris and Francie and everyone at the at Chilton to go in and talk to the new students. And Paris
Oh, I
scares the
love
crap out
this
of them.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Paris
love this
scares the
part.
crap
Yeah.
out of them, but Rory talks and she's just like, sometimes there's things like, why do I have to take this class? Why do I need to do this? I'm a journalism major, I'm an art major, I'm this major. She's like, I took this music class because I thought it would be a chance to listen to, rock and roll. But I found out I had to, actually compose music, and I had to write, and like, this is what I signed up for, and I wasn't happy. But through that, now when I listen to music, I don't just hear it, I see it. And I'd only ever heard it before. And I was like, fudge, that is such a good interpretation of learning music theory and just learning about music in general. And it's like, and I did the same thing when I played violin and I learned piano. It's like, yeah, you can see it if you want to. And it's like, there's a quote from Leonard Nimoy in the movie Sucker Punch, where he says, for those who fight for it, life has a flavor that the sheltered will never get to taste. What is your favorite flavor of life that the sheltered haven't tasted yet?
Okay, so I recently felt this. I wanna say, even though I don't like it at all, like at all, Randy, it's one of the worst. But I feel, so like, stay with me, right? Because it's not just it's not a feeling. It's what happens with that feeling once you jump. So I feel like this is so weird for me to say, but fear, because if you're afraid, that means that you're on the brink of something, whatever it is, like something that you want to do, or something that you're passionate about, or something that you're scared to do, like that fear, that initial fear. And then when you jump, and you might land, or you might fall. I mean, who knows? Like, you never know until, like, you take that initial jump, and you then realize, like, oh, okay, I can do this, and I'm actually okay at this, and I can be better at it, like, or I can learn from it, or I've learned this and that, and then this is how I'm going to readjust. um yeah, I want to say that, because I feel like someone who's sheltered has it all already. Like, it's kind of like you're just going through life, like, neutral, monotone, like, wake up, brush my teeth, eat breakfast, go to work, come back home, watch a show, go to sleep, next, like, do the same thing. I think the fear of doing something new, pushing yourself to do it, and finding out whatever it is that is going to be on the end of you pushing yourself to do it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
There's a catch up with some comments here. Booth saying he missed the Walt drop and was on second hour for 800. And he said, heck it. Didn't want to buy it. It was a huge mistake. Feel like don't be scared to do it. Like Nike, just do it.
Just
Can't
do
get
it.
old
Yeah.
and be like, damn, I should have done this. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely have that. Rogers Warren saying best comic girl should be AF-15. I think it already is. The risk in life is not to take the risk. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed, sir.
Mm-hmm.
In the, so you mentioned that you the Gilmore Girls came out when you were like middle school, high school, but you didn't watch it until just a little bit later on Netflix. When you started watching it, did that impact your life in any way? Did you ever use quotes from it or lessons from it to live your life by? Or is it like, this is just for fun and this is my escape from reality? And you don't like to merge those worlds?
I wouldn't say it's like an escape from my reality because I'm very blessed and privileged to say like I love my reality. So I watch it because it's fun. I watch it because it's like I think it's magical at times and I connect with the characters. I connect a lot with Lorelai and with Rory like at the same time, which is weird because I am a mother and I have a kiddo, and like now I'm actually watching it, and when I watch like the college years, that's like the time frame that I'm at right now, which is kind of cool. Um I I've I feel like I've learned things from the show, but it's things that I was already living by in my life.
No.
Like I didn't learn it from the show. I'm just like, oh yeah, I get that. Like I'm there with you. Like I understand that. So I feel like I relate more to the show than anything. I don't quote it. I don't. I
Wait,
wish
really?
I knew. No, I wish
I
I
feel
could
like we
remember.
quoted all the
Like,
time when we were in Florida.
well, I don't know okay, I do quote it, but I don't know exact quotes. Like you have a gift, Randy. Like for you to like know word for word some of these quotes, I'm like, dang, Randy's like has the best memory ever, and I wish I had that. So I don't quote it directly word for word, but I guess if you and I are talking about it, like we know what what episode or what the characters are saying at the time. I actually, since we're on this, I actually want to talk to you because I didn't want to forget about it.
Okay.
Um, when we were planning doing the stream and talking about Gilmore Girls, and thanks Sanjay.
Love Sunday.
We were, I like to send you kind of like trivia questions or like about Gilmore Girls from time to time. And one of them was about Kirk. And I was like, hey, what was Kirk's name like in the beginning of the show? And you were like, Mick. And I was like, oh, yes. But I love your theory. When you told me that, I was like, Randy's a genius. He's a genius. Okay, so you gotta tell me about this theory, please, please,
Okay.
please. Like,
Okay. So there's an episode, I forget what it's called. I think it's in season 3. A Tifket, a Tasket. Yeah, that's the episode. Where there's a tradition in the town where the single women in town, hopefully single, they make a basket and you're supposed
oh
to,
yes,
there's a men in town like, okay, like whose basket is this? Is it, you just get to see what type of basket it is and what's packed in there. And it's kind of like Storage Wars. There's like, this basket looks like it has good food in it. I'm going to bid on it. And
right.
the winner of the basket gets to go on a date with the maker of the basket. That famous Jess line, basket maker, guy who didn't bring enough money. And Dean is
Yeah.
so angry. Anyway, Kirk wins Suki's basket. The entire thing is like a pretzel made of like goat cheese, which is the most impressive thing that I've ever seen. Anyway, the reason why Jackson, her boyfriend at the time, didn't ask to bid on because Jackson tells Suki, he's like, hey, my lease on my apartment is going through, like it's coming up. I don't know if I want to renew it. And then she's like, yeah, no, renew it. And he's like, okay, guess you don't want me moving in. He feels slighted, feels a certain type of way about it.
Right.
And then so he doesn't bid on the basket. And Suki's like, did you see me mouthing, that's my basket? Why didn't you bid? They go through the thing and he's like, okay, well, Kirk's got my basket and you need to fix this. So Jackson goes in and he says, Kirk, me and Suki had this fight. We had this misunderstanding, but we're good now. I need to, have this basket. He's like, I paid for the basket. He goes through the whole thing and he's like, okay, how much for the basket? I think he paid like $40 for it, $50. And then he asked like, how much? Like $250. Like, Kirk, that's insane. He's like, I had 12 brothers and sisters, Jackson. My mom bought their baskets. She didn't bid on mine. And he's like, oh, Kirk, I'm so sorry. And he's like, 12 brothers and sisters. He's like, okay, fine. And then I think he winds up paying them in like crinkle cut, like carrot installments. Anyway, so that's the piece of lore that we get, that Kirk has 12 brothers and sisters. And in the first, at least one episode, maybe two, what we think is Kirk is this cable guy coming in because Emily Gilmore goes and pays to get a high-speed internet installed into the house. Yeah. And Lorelai shoos them away. He's like, we like our internet slow. We like to walk around, do a little dance, make a sandwich, and then go to our internet. And she's like, you're being stubborn as usual. It's like, no, Mom, I'm not being stubborn as usual. I'm being me, the same person who always needed to work out her own problems and take care of herself because that's the way I was born. God damn, I love this fucking show so much. I'm sorry, I'm a little tipsy. I'm very tipsy. Also,
I love how you can quote it word for word.
Well, because it's such a great show. Alujo, the tequila, refining the gentleman. Anyway, so in that episode, he says, my name's Mick. And I think he's Mick in another episode where he brings a bunch of swans to the Dragonfly. What was the name of that inn before? Anyway.
Independence Inn.
Independence Inn. And the theory is that it's like, okay, well, that's Mick. They changed his name to Kirk. I was like, well, maybe they didn't. Maybe Mick is one of Kirk's 12 brothers and sisters. And it's like, and that's why there are different names, even though they're played by the same character, but they're two different people, I believe.
When you said that to me, I was like, oh my gosh, that is genius. Because I mean, I don't, it's not said in the show, right? Like, oh, that was your brother or whatever. Yeah. But that's such a, because you think to yourself, like, magic.
It's Orlando PTSD.
Magic's like, can y'all shut up about Gilmore Girls? And we couldn't. We really couldn't. It's too hard. But it's so much more fun to think about it that way, because then you think like, oh, Kirk didn't exist in the misread. Kirk didn't exist in the beginning of the show, and then they created his character. But it's so much more fun to think, oh, that's his sibling, and Kirk just didn't make it yet until they finally had him come into the show. So yeah, I love that theory so much, and that's how I'm looking at it from now on. It was Kirk's brother. Brothers.
I do love I love the interaction that when Luke like buys the Tookham house, then unbuys the Tookham house, and almost buys the Tookham house again, he has to compete with Kirk, and to buy this Tookham house, and he's like, well, listen, I'm one of their oldest customers, and Kirk, without missing a beat, is like, well, I'm one of their best. I've had an insane amount of jobs, because he's a makeup counter guy. He's a what's that thing where he comes in like the freaking Mets and I have a piece of hair in my mouth. That is gross. He's got he's like an air glider. He comes in on like a parachute on one thing.
Yes.
He lands in the bushes. You see him at the end of the episode. It's like there's a strong wind. So
and Lorelai had told him not to do it, because remember, he was working at the beauty supply shop.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, Kirk, no.
He's a photographer. He develops Uber. He works at the movie theater. There's an insane amount of jobs that he has, and he amasses like $240-something thousand worth that he saved up, and that's why he's one of the town's best customers. And what I really want is Kirk and Luke go to like the sweat lodge to determine like who can get it, and you see a guy in a towel, almost like the Kermit the Frog meme, like, do it. And he's just like, Luke wants it more. And it was like, I'm so curious on who that guy is. But Kirk amasses a fairly decent amount of wealth. And I don't know how much of that is from grit, how much of that is from Taylor, because he's Taylor's like right-hand man. And maybe Taylor says, like, do this with your money, do that with your money, because he controls the whole town. So I just like Kirk like did it. He takes this like podunk nothing town and he amasses almost $250,000 of wealth. And then what does he do? You know, after he almost buys the Twickham house with that wealth, like he continues to grind. He develops Uber in the revival. He just, I wonder where Kirk is now. And there's theories that like because his brother Sean Gunn is like a big director in the MCU and DC, he has Kirk in Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, because he's his brother, and he's just like, there's theories that like that's just one of Kirk's jobs. Like he joined the Space Force, and then he's now in the Guardians of the Galaxy, like as part of like the Space
That
Force.
is so funny. Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, that's so cool. Oh, that is such a good theory too. I'm keeping that one too. That one is staying in my head. That's the way it is, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Okay, so question, and this is a big one. Jess, Dean, or Logan, and it could depend on the time. Like, well, in this season you're this person, in this season you're that person. What is the?
It's between Dean and Logan.
Okay. It doesn't matter which season. It just
no. Are you asking me where's Jess in all of this?
Yeah, Jess, Dean, or Logan. If I didn't mention it, I'm sorry. I thought it was. I thought I did.
Jess.
In all seasons, in all times.
In all. Okay, here's the thing. I love Dean. Dean was a sweetheart, but he was just not he just wasn't it. And I'm not saying that he couldn't have become that, but it just wasn't. And then Logan, oh man, Logan was just such a mess for a while, and then he got his act together, but I just feel like the instability of the messiness was just like Rory couldn't fully let go of that. Jess, on the other hand, Jess was not ready for Rory, but just like we see in the season after, like he becomes such a beautiful human, like that. Magic says Jess was the one. Jess was always the one. He just wasn't ready for. He had too much pain, Randy. There was too much pain in there. Pain from like his dad, pain from his mom, like pain of just being angry, of being a teenager, of being a young man. Like he's trying to figure that out, but he was always the one for Rory. I am team Jess through and through. I just think that he hurt Rory at the time because he was hurting himself. Like he himself was hurting and he just didn't know how to deal with that or, you know, like express that. I hate that they didn't bring him back in. You know that they dated in real life? I'm sure you know this.
Yes.
They dated in real life for years, and oh my god, that would have been the best thing if they would have ended up together. Oh, I would have loved that so much, but you know, life happens or whatever.
Well, they kind of do bring him back in the revival, you know,
yes,
to see.
Yes. But not in the seasons, which I well, they did for a little bit. Remember when he came back and he told Rory like, "I love you, come away with me," and she's like in Yale, and she was like, "No, bro, like what? I'm not." And then that's when he catches her with Dean, and then we see him a little bit later too when Rory had left Yale and he meets Logan, and Logan was supposed to be out of town, but Jess came to see Rory because he wrote a book and he wanted to show it to her. And he was like, "What are you doing? Why are you not in Yale?
Why okay, drop out of Yale?" Oh my god, such a good.
And you know, I think that's why Jess, I'll always say Jess knew what Rory needed. He just couldn't be that for her in the time that he needed to heal. You know? Yeah. And I really feel like if they were to bring the series back, you know, because everybody was hoping, right? Like after the 4 season one, like that they would bring it back, I really feel like they would end up together. I really do. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
know
mean
Rory's pregnant, but as you know, like time goes on, I feel like they would have ended up together down the line.
that's what like killed it for me is because Dean. I think Dean was supposed to be the original Jeff, supposed to be this bad boy from Chicago, supposed to be like this out of towner, Windy City, and then he becomes like the simp, and him and Luke kind of fight. It's like we are is this town, and it's like Dean's not from this town, but he like the writers made him like part of this town, and now he's like part of the crew, part of the ship. And Jess just, and maybe I identify with Jess because he's very smart, but he doesn't. He's one of those people that school fails. Like he didn't fail school, like school failed him.
Right.
And
I agree with that so much.
He even says just like, other students, it takes them hours, takes me minutes to learn. And like I freaking love that shit. But also the fact that, sorry, I'm gonna charge my tablet there. Again, he relates to Rory, and they're of similar intelligence, and they, he writes notes in the margins, but he's like this, like in video games, you're taught that the most boring looking piece of armor can be like the best. Doesn't matter what you, and obviously that doesn't translate 1-to-1 because Jess is like so good looking. Like the episode at the Oasis where she can't stop the sprinklers and the hair and the wet hair is coming out. I was like, fucking girl. But he's like this, like kind of like, they even make a mention of it with Oliver Twist, like, okay, Dodger, because he's like the kind of street guy, and she visits him like in New York where he's on the streets reading books, and good at the time. And then I hated Logan when I was younger because I identified with Jess so much because he's like this rich boy, snotty rich boy. And then as I got older, I was like, he did challenge Rory. He did like in multiple ways, like one, just verbally, like dialogue, and two, like when Rory's like, I'm not like you. I'm not, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. He's like, well, you're not exactly paying rent either. Like he like puts her in her place. And and maybe that's kind of like the Jess version of her getting a wake-up call. It's like, okay, my mom did this. I could do this without you. So she lives with Paris in that like just shithole of an apartment. And where I lose I guess this is gonna be not the, well, I guess Logan and Jess. It's like, what Logan, have you ever heard in the letter that he writes to, or the letter that Lorelai writes to Rory about Logan's visit? Have you ever looked up what it actually says?
No. Do you know?
Yeah, so it's on the WB lot, like in California, like in part of the tour you can read it. And this good Samaritan you're not supposed to take photos, but they took a photo and posted it on Reddit. So the letter from Lorelai to Rory says, "Dear Rory, so right now you are reading my sealed words of wisdom as a tormented, foolish, but persistent cad hangs off every nuance of your reactions, his heart and mind in a dizzying flurry of questions as how the outcome will play out. ... As you read this, delight in the knowledge that this lovesick pup before you does not have a clue. Now, ordinarily, after a fool has taken my daughter's love for granted, if I did not kill him through a slow and excruciating painful death, I would instruct my daughter, much like Miss Havisham did to Estella in Great Expectations, to be cold-blooded and calculating, to dash his hopes and crush him. However, the decision is all yours to make. Love is elusive and all-encompassing. When you fall under its intoxicating spell, you have little recourse but to live out its devices. If you love this boy, maybe you want to give it another chance? ? Good luck. Love you, Mom." So that's the.
Thank you so much for reading that. Oh my
I'll send it to you.
Please send it to me. Oh my gosh, that is such a Lorelai. Oh, I love Lorelai. I love Lorelai. Oh my gosh. Look, can I just point out real quick? We will continue this conversation, Randy,
Yeah,
but that my best friend over there is like saying Jess was the one and never did I still don't like Logan. So is she talking Gilmore Girls with us?
I think she is. I think
I think she's talking Gilmore Girls with us.
we
Okay.
have to talk Gilmore Girls with her next time we're around her.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Okay, oh my god. Okay. So then tell me when you felt like you lost respect.
Well, so for Logan, it was that. It's like, okay, I can imagine that Rory, she is special. Like their witticism, like she is special. There's a reason we all fell in love with her because there's not too many people like her in the world. But Logan, even if he wasn't as good looking as he is, even if he wasn't as charming as he was, like he's got his pick of the list. He's trust fund baby of like he can get relatively whoever he wants. Someone like Lo and like you're simping for this girl that's like and again, I get it. She's pretty awesome. And she's like a lot of the people that go for Logan would be like the dumb bimbo types or the people that just like, they're a body, they're like whatever. And maybe because he's had so many women, because even in the time where he thought him and Rory was broken up, he sleeps with like half of his sister's friends.
Mm-hmm.
If any of them were even half of the mind that Rory was, he probably would have stayed with them, but he didn't. So that does say like just because of Rory's mind, there's something there. And but again, he could get relatively anyone he wants, and he's simping for this girl. Like there's a lot of girls out there, and he's simping for. So I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him for that. The second is Jess, where he never, he never seals the deal with her. He never, like I think part of the reason why, and this is I'm going to rustle some jimmies here. Part of the reason why Rory didn't go with him when he says like run away with him is because they never boinked. And if you're any well any guy worth their salt is going to make sure that like, oh wait, it's not just a special, it's like a virgin as well, and I'm gonna like gonna make sure that is the most mind-blowing experience that she ever has, and you're gonna make sure that like, okay, it doesn't matter what happens after this. After every failed relationship, she's gonna want to come back to me, and he doesn't like he doesn't get that because again, he never sealed the deal, and then at the end of the day, and
that's what I'm saying.
And
like Randy.
Oh God, where's? Okay, so and you're lucky I'm giving you the PG-13 version, but at the end, and again, he might not have the money. He might have a little bit of status because he wrote a book. He's owner of this like bookstore shop thing that April goes to eventually, but again, he's not bad. Like he's very easy on the eyes. He can get probably a lot of women as well. And he doesn't go for and try to simp for her like Logan does when she's in her early 20s. He goes and simps for her when she's like in her 30s, fresh off sleeping with a Wookiee, and is just like, she has her grandparents' inheritance, the stuff that Lorelai the First was going to give her, plus the grandparents, plus her grandfather's money that she got when she was 24, 25. So she does have that, but fairly unsuccessful in what she set out to do. And again, a lot of guys don't really care about the level of success or how far up the dominance hierarchy a woman goes, because you want to love them for them. You want to love them for different things, whether it's youth, submissiveness, whatever. He still simps her. He's like she's already pregnant with another dude's kid, someone that he like abhors, he mega loathes, And he's still like, yeah, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna simp for her anyway. And it's like, dude, like, no. I loved him in the first up to I guess 7 seasons. And I respected Logan for what he taught Rory in the later seasons, but again, but like I think Logan's engaged to like a print like partial royalty or partial like whatever, like a freaking France debutante, and he's still like what the fudge? Like this was anyway. Like tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me like Randy, don't you just believe in true love? And then just tell me why I'm wrong, because I'm sitting here thinking like all these dudes are. This is not realistic. This is not. No.
So I think I could possibly be the most absolute wrong person to talk about this with.
Why? Why? Tell me everything. Tell me everything.
Because this is what I feel. I feel like you're right. Logan can get anybody that he wants. And the Jess thing, like I kind of get, you know, where you're coming from. But there's nothing like money and status and whatever in your mind you feel like success is, however many businesses you have, however big your empire is, like you can pay and buy women or a partner or whatever. It will never compare to having like having care and love and a good heart and quality, like a quality and like a person like soul and mind. And like I will tell you, Randy, that, and I will say this like with all certainty, nobody can come to me and say, Janie, I have this amount of money, I have this status, and I have this many businesses, and I will give you the dream life. And I would look at that man or that woman, I mean, whoever's interested, and I would be like, you're absolutely out of your mind. Like, I have my dream. And even if Max and I say this to Max all the time, even if we're in a shoebox under a bridge, like, there's no amount of anything that could ever compare to the love that I experienced with Max. Nothing. So I feel like they've experienced that love and that care and that kindness with Rory. And they see like nobody else can compare. No other woman can compare. I think that's what Logan sees because he's been with so many women. Like, why not go and do that? There's not, once you have a taste of something that's real, and I'm not talking about taste, like I'm talking about like when your soul feels, when you connect, and you get all the stuff, like everything like in a package, you're like, nothing else is the same. Nothing else will ever be the same. Like, so that's where I say that I feel like I'm the wrong person to talk about it, because I will never care. I will never care about like what Max and I have to go through or what struggles we've been through, because I know we'll get through it together. And as long as I have him, like, nothing else matters. Nobody else matters. And I think that that's what they feel for Rory. And I connect with that, because well, first of all, I would, you know, Max and I are about to be 17 years together. Like, I would never jeopardize my relationship with him with anybody like Logan did, you know?
17. Congrats. Also, we've been going for 9. How long do I have you for?
Oh, I didn't even realize that it was an hour and 30. So I'm okay for right now if you wanted to keep going a little bit.
Okay. So so if I pour myself a little bit, because this is very good tequila. So I don't want to pour it unless we're gonna go for a little while longer.
Yeah, we can go. Or if you want to end it, we can end it. Whatever you want.
Oh no,
Max will be back home at like 5-ish. So maybe like another 30-ish minutes.
Janie, I don't have anything on for another 2.5 hours. So
okay.
So we're going to
you go, boy.
I will do it a little bit. Oh god, that might have been a little too much. Dude, look at this freaking bottle.
That's such a cute bottle.
I know, right?
That's so pretty.
Anyway, we're gonna put this back on, and we're gonna pretend that. Okay, there we go. So part of the reason why I don't want to say dislike, love Rory, right? But yeah, she messed up, and it's easy as someone that's 35 in 2026 to be like, hey, Rory, back in 2016 when you were, or back in 2007 when you were like 22, you messed up, because it's a lot easier when you're older. So, but she probably should have agreed to marry Logan, because then she at least would have had something to fall back on. Like, and I get she
I
has
don't
like her
think
grandparents going,
so.
wait, why?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think she should have. I was
okay,
so proud of her.
I'm gonna put this on max volume, and I want you to give me my super in-depth answer. But I've had a lot to drink and I gotta pee, so you give me my super in-depth answer as I utilize the latrine.
Okay. Okay, you do that. So I think when you think about um marrying someone, you're thinking about this person as being your life partner, like for the rest of your life. Like, this is a person that you want to love, and you want to have joyful moments, and you want to support, and you want to succeed with, and you want to cheer for them. And then there's times where life is going to throw you curveballs, and you want to have somebody that will will be have your back, and that you can fight with, not fight with each other, but like fight whatever the struggle is with them, like you guys are in war together. And I think that if you just marry with thinking of, oh, I'm going to be taken care of, if
I
being a
heard fight with
journalist.
and struggle with, and then I had to flush. So can you repeat anything after the fight and struggle
so
with?
so I said fight with, but not like fight with each other, like fight alongside of like whatever the curveball that's being thrown at you. um you think about this like life, right? And if you just think about it like, oh, I'm gonna be taken, if it's Rory thinking, hey, if journalism doesn't work out, I have this person that can take care of me, and like I have a way out per se, like of this dream, then one, you don't really don't love that person. You really don't want to go through life with that person, and life could be all encompassing of like positive and hard times and everything. And then you're not really believing in yourself. Like, if you're thinking like, I'm going to fall back on this, like you're not really taking the jump to believe in yourself and your dream. So I was very proud of her for saying no, because it would be, I think it's easier to say yes and be taken care of
It
and
is.
have that fallback. And again, I wouldn't have judged her if she would have done that. I don't judge anybody for whatever decision they have to make when it comes to stuff like that, or what decision they make for their future. But me personally, I would not be able to. I would compare it with the life that I have with Max. Like, I have something that I want and that I love, and that Max and I have been through really great times and really hard times, and we wouldn't have made it if we didn't have each other. I wouldn't be able to fake it with somebody else and just go through it if I didn't really feel like, okay, this is my partner. Like, and I don't feel, she didn't feel that for Logan. She knew it as soon as he asked her, "Will you marry me?" She knew it. This is not my person. I love him. I care about him. I want all the happy things for him, and I want him to succeed, but this is not my person. She knew immediately when he asked.
Do you think so? I get your interpretation of just like, again, going through the mindset of what you said, like, if it's my person, I'd live with him in a box, and Logan, I would not live with him. So I get that. But do you think part of it might have been, hey, if I stay with Logan and I live this certain lifestyle, I won't get to experience this type of lifestyle, similar to what Luke told Lorelai about Rory and Pippi Longstocking. It's like, if he stays with this, you know, like if Pippi would have done this, she wouldn't have gone on all these adventures. Do you think that Rory's decision to not go with Logan wasn't about him being or not being his person, but about the possible adventures that would have been missed because she would have been expected to live a certain way and be a certain way, and it had nothing to do with him being her person or not?
Here's the thing, though, Randy. Like, Logan could have been capable of it. I feel like they could have gotten married if Rory would have still felt comfortable enough to follow her dream. Like, if she could have traveled and have all the adventures, why can't you have that when you're married? You know, like, why can't you follow your dream and still have each other? Like, Logan wasn't okay with that. Logan's like, I don't want to do the long distance. Why not? If you're my person, we could do anything. We can conquer anything. So he just was never the person, because if he would have been the guy, he would have been like, okay, we can wait. You do your journalism, and like, we can still have a relationship, and it'll be okay. But he wanted her to be there.
Do you think that there's a difference between being the person but unwilling to do X versus maybe not being the person, but a person that's close enough to being the person but is willing to let me do X?
Yeah, because you're just not. You gotta think about long term. Long term, someone not being your person isn't going to be successful. At least in my experience.
You mean the relationship's not going to be successful?
Right. The relationship won't be successful. Sorry. Yes. It just won't work. It'll work for a little bit, but then things will start showing up where at least that's how I would feel. Like, if I didn't have my person, which is Max, and I was just in a relationship, it could work for a little bit, but then things start missing, like that love, that desire, that want to support that person and be there for them. Like, that's with your person. I just feel like it would only have lasted a little. They wouldn't have lasted. It's the same thing with Lorelai and Christopher. He wasn't the person, but he could have like helped her, you know, do the things that she still wanted to do. Like, he could have still like tried his very best, but he just wasn't the person. It was never going to last. And even Lorelai says it, like, we would not have made it. Maybe a few years, maybe a decade or two. But is there real happiness in that? I don't know. Maybe there's comfort and there's content, but like real happiness and love, I don't know. And again, I'm speaking of it, and like, you know, I know there's a lot of people that want to meet their person, and some people don't ever get to meet their person, you know, and that makes me very sad, because I would want everyone to feel the love from their person like I do for Max. And again, no relationship is perfect. But I wouldn't know what that would feel like to not, you know.
There's two quotes I want to read you. One is by Dr. Cox of Scrubs, and the other is by BoJack Horseman of the BoJack Horseman show. Dr. Cox says, relationships don't work the way they do on television and in the movies. Will they? Won't they? They finally do, and they're happy forever. Give me a break. 9 out of 10 of them end because they weren't right for each other to begin with, and half of the ones who get married get divorced anyways. I'm telling you this right now, through all this stuff, I have not become a cynic. I haven't. Yes, I do happen to believe love is mainly about pushing chocolate covered candies and, in some cultures, a chicken. You can call me a sucker. I don't care because I do believe in it. Bottom line, there's couples that are truly right for each other, wade through the same crap as everybody else. But the big difference is they don't let it take them down. One of those two people will stand up and fight for that relationship every time. It's right, and they're real lucky. One of them will say something. The other, again, from BoJack, somebody asked him, is like, what should I do? Settle? And BoJack says, yes, thank you, exactly. Settle, because otherwise you're just going to get older and harder and more alone. And you're going to do everything you can to fill that hole with friends and your career and meaningless sex, but the hole doesn't get filled. One day you're going to look around and you're going to realize that everybody loves you, but nobody likes you. And that's the loneliest feeling in the world. So you have two people that are one of the mains of their show. One says like you should fight for love. The other says like you should settle because Hannah Montana says in 08, nobody's perfect. And you have to go in and just, if you find, and even Dr. Cox says this in another episode, it's like you find someone that you can just stand to tolerate, you hold on and you don't let go. Do you think that it's possible that you're just one of the luckiest people in the world and most other people will never get that? Because again, you are an incredibly happy, fun, amazing person who everyone just loves to be around. But also, I want to say this in a respectful way, very easy on the eyes. And it's like some guys who wouldn't care about the personality be like, yep, she's good looking. Yep, she's cute. Yep, be with her for just that. So do you think you have like the pretty privilege and you're lucky in some aspects? Or do you think that, well, everyone has their positives and negatives and you just have to fight for it? You just have to, like Lorelai says, sometimes a girl's got to hunt a little bit.
So this is a little bit hard for me to answer because in my answer it makes me also incredibly sad. Like there's two sides to it, right? Like I will say I am the luckiest woman alive, and that's what I feel. I really do. And another woman could look at Max and be like, what? Like, or maybe not even like his personality or like his sense of humor or like what he talks about or like someone else would look at me like, girl, you are not lucky. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But in everything that I feel for my partner, I am the luckiest woman alive. I am loved, I'm cared for, I'm supported deeply, deeply, deeply. Um I don't know, but in saying that, it also makes me really sad because I wish that everyone could feel that. And again, Randy, I don't know, like maybe I say this that I'm lucky, I'm blessed, I'm really, really coming from a place of privilege. Yes. I don't know if, I mean, if it has anything to do with me being beautiful or me being pretty. I don't know because I could have found another guy that wouldn't have been my Max.
Yeah.
And I still, even me being pretty and me being beautiful and me being fun to be around, like I still wouldn't have lived the life that I'm living right now of like love with another person that just picked me, then I would just be like everybody else, trying to find their person or trying to find this love and this happiness. It just so happened that I picked Max and Max picked me, and we became best friends first, and we fell in love, and now we're here 17, almost 17 years later, still like deeply loving each other and choosing each other. That's the important thing because it's not that it's not easy or that it's hard. It's just that life life is tough. You go through a lot of ups and downs and a lot of like really sad shit, and you have to keep choosing each other. I think that that's really the key uh of a loving and successful relationship. Not that I have all the answers. I mean, I don't know if what I'm saying is the right way. I don't know if what I'm saying is true. It's my truth, you know. Um, for some people, it may be okay to settle, and that might be their happiness, and that's okay. Um, and I don't judge that. I think people make the decisions that's best for them, and they're okay with that. And then some people make the decisions that are best for them, and they're not okay with that, and they're living really sad lives. On the outside, it may look really pretty and wonderful, but on the inside, it's not.
Yeah.
You know. Um, so to answer your question, I am the luckiest woman in the whole entire universe and galaxies and dimensions and intergalactic whatever whatever. Oh, baby, you've been listening. He's supposed to be getting a haircut.
Yeah, he's probably
Oh my
showing
god,
this
you're
to like the
so
barber.
dumb.
He's
The
probably be like,
barber's
"Yo,
my
listen what my
nephew.
girl's saying about me." He's the envy of the barbershop right now.
But the barber's my nephew. You'd be like, yeah, that's my Thea. Oh baby, I love you too. And I will say that, and maybe in the eyes of many people, I don't have a perfect relationship. And even Max and I say it all the time, we do not have a perfect relationship. We love each other deeply, and we work at our relationship, and we have hard conversations, and we have really easy conversations, and we just choose each other. I'm I'm just I just I guess it's also my personality. I guess Max would have to talk about this, but my personality is like I just don't give up. I don't give up, and I will fight. Um, I will fight for my family with everything that I have always. I
There's
fight for the people that I love.
if love is a garden, what is the rain that nourishes it?
If love is a garden, what is the rain that nourishes it? Patience, compassion, um, choosing even the love, like choosing it, choosing to rain on the love, having fun. Oh my gosh, like having fun together, like laughing at each other, being silly, um, sitting on a sofa and watching a movie, like making and not to get in depth with this, because I have to respect my relationship, and I have a lot of respect for my husband, but having intimacy is very important for me, and obviously for Max. But having and intimacy can look in many ways. Like I think people go directly into like the physical, but yes, the physical has to be um intimacy can look in many different ways, and you have to find the way that works for you. And supporting each other, supporting, caring, being kind, compromising. It's so much. It's so much. It does. Your garden of love does need to be constantly watered. You know.
There's a Have you ever seen Kyle XY?
Kyle XY. That sounds so familiar. Tell me.
It
Tell me
was
about it.
it was also on ABC Family. It's about this kid that is found like wandering the streets of Seattle, and they don't know where he comes from, and he has like no belly button, and it's like, this is weird. Where, like, what's going on with
That
this
sounds
kid?
so
And
familiar. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so this girl who's a social worker named Nicole, she's like, he's incredibly bright. Like it's like he can kind of understand what you're saying, but he doesn't really know. He just can't communicate. So she takes him home to her husband and two kids, and like, hey, he's gonna stay with us for a couple days. The place where he was, which is a juvenile detention center, like was not the right place. And he's got exceptionally good hearing. And one day he's just like the next day he's like on a computer. He's like, Nicole, the caretaker, is like, play with this, and it's like a game for kids. Like, this is blue, this is a cloud, this is whatever, and then he hears something. It's his neighbor, played by Kristen Prout. Her name's Amanda. She's playing like Pachelbel's canon in D, and he says it was the most beautiful sound in the world. It was part mathematics and part euphoria. Because again, this is someone that is a person, but seems to have no memory of anything else up until he woke up in the woods, as though he's like essentially a day old, but he can like walk and stuff. And he goes to the source of the sound, the next door neighbor, and it's a safe place. So the door's open. He opens the door, and he says that through listening to the sound, he was sure that the sound had meant to fill all who heard it with a sense of love and emotion. And then the girl's mom comes in with like a bag of groceries, like, Amanda, I'm home, just like walks right by her. And then he says, like, then I recognized there were some people in this world that could not appreciate this beauty, and my sorrow grew for them. And he gets a little emotional when he cries, and he falls down, and he's like, oh God, the girl sees her, and then he's like, he like runs away. Which I think that's one of like a very sense of pure love and emotion. And I guess in this talk about love, like, do you have sorrow for the people that don't have it? What's your advice to them? What's your advice to the people that have not yet found their person? Is it to just try harder? Is it to hunt a little bit more? Or is it to go in and just say, like, hey, this is not meant for everyone. Mathematically, it's impossible. Like for males, I think like 40% of all males have lived just have not procreated. What's your advice to people that haven't found love yet?
So Randy, like you know, I've been in this community for years, and like want when I say like I love everybody and I want to spread joy and love, like that's really coming from a genuine place in like my soul. I think it's because and I speak openly about like mental health. Like I know what it feels like. I know what depression feels like. I know what anxiety feels like. I know what it feels like to feel alone and abandoned and hurt and so many other things. And I feel like because I know that, I just want to embrace people so they don't feel that, like protect them. So I really truly mean it when I say that. I It does hurt me. It does a lot of things in this world make me sad. A lot of things when people are hurting, or when negative things are happening in the world. And yes, of course it does bring me. I think you have to see the world deeper than just like face, right? Than what's on the surface. Like people feel things and don't talk about it, and people go through things and they don't talk about it. I can't sit here. So yes to the first part. Like I feel hurt, but not, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I just feel like a pain, like and like a want for them to find that in some way, shape, or form, like in a relationship or in their life, to find that happiness and that joy. I can't sit here and tell someone to work harder at like finding someone. I feel like that's so wrong, because then I'm eliminating, like I'm not, like I don't give them enough credit. And I'm also like, if I would say, like if I would tell somebody work harder at finding someone, like it's not coming from a place of like care and love, because I feel like the first thing is to have grace with yourself. um I found my best friend. I found my person. I don't know why. I was lucky. I don't know why the universe put us together. I don't know why that happened to me. I ask that all the time, like why me in like that sense. Um, and not only did I find my person, but I gave birth to the most amazing human in the whole entire world, and who's the love of my life. And so like I have these two pillars in my life that are just so incredibly magical and amazing. Um, I don't know why. I can't tell you. All I can say is I live in gratitude. Um, I yeah, I say have grace for yourself, love yourself, be open to the possibility of finding that love and finding that person. It's there's no stories of people finding love later on in life. Um, have fun, do the things that make you happy. Um, but I don't think that I could give. I think that would just be my advice. Like, have grace for yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself. Don't destroy yourself in the process. If your want is to find somebody to spend your life with, that's a beautiful thing. And I just ask the universe to find that person for you. And I mean that wholeheartedly. But if that's not what you want, that's okay too. Like, find whatever makes you happy, whatever gives you purpose, whatever makes you smile. But I can never look somebody in the eye and tell them to work harder or to keep, or like, keep trying and trying and trying. Like, I think do what you feel is best in your heart and your soul. And I just wish everyone so much love. That's what I would say.
Your comment on two pillars reminds me of Rory's graduation speech, where she
Yes.
mentions that her grandparents are two pillars from whom which without she could not stand.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your two pillars are your kid and Max. Tell me, out of the impossibly large area of things that you could pick from, but just one thing, maybe the first thing come to mind, one thing about each on why they're your pillars.
Well, with my kiddo,
Ye-
I've learned so much about myself, about being a mother, about being a good human, about adjusting. I feel like my baby right now is growing and learning and going through a lot of things. Um, but as she's doing that, to me, she's the the most magical human. She's my baby. She's the love of my life. At the same time, with Max is truly Randy. And I know this is probably gonna sound corny, and I'm sorry. I'm really not trying to
Oh,
be
I
corny, guys.
love the corniness. Bring it on.
But Max is my light. He is my light. Like, in times where I'm and Max, if anyone gets the pleasure of meeting my husband, he is so amazing and so fun, and just he is light. He he just sees the best in everything, and he's just optimistic. And there's times where he needs light too, but he's filled with so much light, and he's the light of my life. Like, if that's the word to describe him, I would say my light. In the sense of, like, even like a lighthouse. Like, I go to him when I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling, whether it's like pure happiness, joy, excitement, or sadness, or I'm struggling or overwhelmed, or you know um, and I really feel like he's the light of our family. Yeah.
So there's
Right.
from Gilmore Girls, there's people that you're meant to love, Lorelai and Rory. There's people that when I was younger, I feel like you were meant to hate, which was definitely Emily, maybe a little bit of Richard, and for me, Mrs. Kim. But we'll focus on Emily and Richard for now. Now, as being a parent, especially as a parent of someone that's kind of grown, is there any sympathies you have towards Emily and Richard? Is there any things you think that, well, when I was younger, I hated this, but now I love this, or I understand this? What could we all learn from Richard and Emily Gilmore?
Well, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with Emily and Richard. Um, I think their views on a lot of things, like I don't connect with. I was not that parent myself. Like, our kid grew up in a very open household where expression was like celebrated, and where being silly and being like out there and everything, that was celebrated and fun, or at least I hope that's what she took from how we raised her. But I think that the one thing that I do connect with Emily and Richard is that, for the most part, they never gave up. They always wanted a relationship in some way, shape, or form. Now, I don't agree with some of the ways that Emily went by it. I feel like a lot of it was kind of like manipulating and like trying to take control. And I think over time, she learned that that wasn't the way. I think that's how she grew up. They grew up, and I kind of think about this a lot with like my mom. They grew up in a time where things were a certain way. You know what I mean? And you know what it is, Randy? This is what I'll say. Um, every parent, if you're a good parent, and by good I mean like you love your child, you love them unconditionally, and you want them to be happy, and you want them to be healthy, and you want to provide like a good life, or you're attempting to. They do the best they can with what they know and what's happening in the moment. I think parents, the way that I think of myself as a mother is, I'm constantly growing and trying to be better as time goes. So like the way that I was like 10, 15 years ago is not the mother that I would be now to like my kid at that age. So like you're constantly growing and being better if you want, because some parents don't. They just kind of like stay stuck in their ways of thinking and being, and they don't want to grow from that. And I think that's so unfortunate, because you lose the possibility of having a relationship with your kid through each phase of their life, as being a young adult or an adult, parents themselves. Like, you have to acknowledge mistakes that you've made and things that you did wrong, and grow from that, and have those hard conversations. And it was kind of hard because Emily never really wanted to do that or acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I can't get with that, because I feel like it's important just as a human, like just forget just being a parent. Like, as a human, if you do something that hurts somebody else, at least hearing them out and acknowledging, like, kind of like how you were talking earlier about Logan kind of checking Rory. Like, sometimes people will check you, and it's up to you to like try to take that in and see, like, do they have a point, or do they not have a point, and not try to always defend yourself. um and Richard, oh, Richard,
Oh, Richard.
think Richard just did the best he could. That's what I
Yes.
think about Richard. He just did the best he could. Like, I
Agreed.
there's nothing more that I could say about him other than that. He just did the best he could with
Yes.
what he was, a dad and a guy at that time. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. There's another thing I want to go in towards the end of Rory's speech. After she's talking about her twin pillars, she says her ultimate inspiration comes from her best friend, dazzling woman from who she received her name and her life's blood, Lorelai Gilmore. She says that my mother never gave me any idea that I couldn't do whatever I wanted to do or be whomever I wanted to be. She filled our house with love and fun and books and music, and unflagging in her efforts to give me role models from Jane Austen to Eudora Welty to Patti Smith. And as she guided me through these incredible 18 years, I don't know if she ever realized that the person I most wanted to be was her. So the two questions I want to pose to you is, who was that for you when you were younger? And if you weren't around, who would you want that to be for your kid?
When I was younger.
And the person doesn't necessarily have to be a real person. It could be like Sailor Moon. It could be like an animated. It could be someone that.
Sailor Moon. That's so funny. I don't know. I guess I would have to say, I don't know if I have an answer to that, Randy. I guess I would have to say, like respectfully, I'm not trying to like question it, but I would have to say at that time, my mom. You know, my mom did the best she could. She protected us. She sacrificed for me a lot. She provided. Um, and I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for her. Her and I are very different. Very, very different. My mom loves very, very differently. Um, and I think that just comes from life experience, right?
She was very nice when I met her.
Yes, she is very, very kind, and I love my mother, and I admire my mom for her strength. So I would say my mom. Yeah, my mom.
Is that your answer for both?
What was the second one? What was the
second one? Was, if you weren't around, who would you want the inspiration to be for your kid? Is that
my husband, Max? That's who I would want. That's who I would choose every time, and that's who I would choose for anybody really.
Defend why?
Because Max has a really good heart, and he honestly, I thought growing up I was like full of integrity until I met my husband. I've never known I've never known anybody who's like full of integrity like how he is. He wants to do right, and he that's really important to him. He wants to do right by his family. Um, Max is also a fighter, and he will do whatever it takes to like for the people that he loves. You know, like he would go to war for you. Um, and he's funny and he's fun, and it's so funny because you know my kiddo came from me, and you know, like long story short, our kid is not Max's biological child, but try to tell him otherwise, and that would be like a whole argument. Like that's his baby through and through. But if you meet our kid, like she's 100 times more like my husband than me.
Really?
Looks exactly like me, but I mean, Max taught her culture and like hip hop and like music, and you know they speak the same language, they have the same humor. Like Max is also super open to people, to all people. Max even teaches me a lot about like being open and just being not jumping to conclusions and not he's just Max is just a gem. He's just light, and that's who I would want for my kiddo always. That's who I would choose.
There's a lot of talk in the last half a decade about machine learning algorithms that take blood data, DNA data, fitness tracker to provide you with a prediction of the clear picture of what's going on inside you. There's CRISPR, there's Illumina. in order to be able to make like what is called like essentially a perfect kid, which is kind of eugenics is put into play kind of right now, because you raised your kid when, in years ago. But let's say between CRISPR and all this, you were able to do it again. What would you do differently this time around now in 2026 if you were to become a mom again at this age and this time?
What would I do again when it comes to like technology, or what would I do again when it comes to like me as a parent?
Raising a kid in 2026 versus mid 2000s.
Um, so this may be kind of like crazy, but like when it comes to technology or like social media or like the iPad era, I was very grateful that I don't know why, Randy, but I did not give my kid an iPad for a long, long time.
Why?
And um big and I don't know the research behind it and I don't know the statistics or anything, but I just felt really strongly that I wanted my kiddo to learn from like us and like nature and like the world and like watching TV was okay or watching movies and stuff, but like constantly being on an iPad, I didn't. I feel like you lose your um, observation. Like just, I wanted her to absorb the world through like her own lens and not through like a screen that was creating a lens for her, if that makes sense.
It does, but if you were, let's say, like a Gen Xer or even a boomer that was trying to raise a kid in like the 90s, you would say like, okay, what we did in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you go outside, you play, and that's definitely a main part of what childhood was like in the 90s, but it was also
Uh-huh.
GoldenEye. It was also Super Smash Brothers. It was also Pokemon and SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents. And if you limited your kid to the new rising technology of just even 30 minutes a day, they wouldn't have had the experiences that they would have had to relate to other kids of what's popular and what's cool, because
Mm-hmm.
even like sometimes a show would be an hour, and if you're only allowed a half hour, that's that's hard. um, so do you think that by limiting nowadays the kids' time with technology through what you would call a lens, do you think you might be also limiting your child to the experiences or shared experiences that they could have with their peers in the next 5 years?
This is such a tough question for me because I don't. I'm so serious about this. Like, I would not want to put myself in like the parents nowadays shoes. When I tell
It's
you, like,
hard. Yeah.
I would not want to be. I don't. I would not want to do. I will not do it again. That is like a decision Max and I have made, and I'm sticking to that because there's just no way in hell like I would want to.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I do agree with you. I do agree with you in the sense like it would be it would be taking something away from them. Man, this could be like a whole other podcast because we can go like back and forth in this because I feel like one, there has to be balance.
Yeah.
Two, I feel like we're losing our connection to people and nature. And that
Yeah.
is, there's no way anybody can tell me different. Like we are losing like we are so desensitized to so many things, and we're losing our connection, our soul connection. You've seen Avatar, right? Like the blue Avatar.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Of course, of
yeah.
course.
So it's like that connection with the earth that we used to have that we just don't have much of anymore. And I'm not going to sit here and say I know what the right way is. I don't know if that would be taking opportunity or making more opportunity. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. All I could say is that that's how I felt when my kiddo was younger is to, she eventually did have an iPad, but it was very, very limited and only certain things could be on there. And she never had it when she was little. Like there was never a time where we were sitting at a table and she had it. Never. Or like at a restaurant or like, you know, to distract. There was none of that. And not that I judge any of that. Like you do what you got to do for your own sanity. You do what you got to do and you do what you feel right, because they're not my babies, they're your babies. Um but that's just what I chose. What I would do different. Um a lot of things that I learned as a parent was to you know, I grew up in a Latin household, so there was things that I grew up with, about maybe not acknowledging certain things.
Like La
And
Llorona?
ah,
Like La Llorona?
La Llorona.
Am I
Hey,
pronouncing
La
that right?
Llorona is real, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't. That
Yeah,
shit is
like what?
scary.
Yeah, so tell us about that. Like, what was the? They even go through it in like an episode of Wild Thornberries. There's like, what do you, what can you tell us that people that
So
Americans might not otherwise know?
so listen, all of it was like legends, right? Like this lady, she murdered her children essentially, right? And then, or drowned them, but then she cried because they were gone, or you know, there's different stories, either they died or she took their life or whatever. And anyway, she just cries up and down this river. And like, you know, you would hear things like, if you keep crying, La Llorona is gonna get you. And like, I've heard stories of people saying that they've seen La Llorona, which is like really scary, but also kind of funny, because you're like, are you for real or not for real? And it's like the whole alien talk too, right? Like, or like Bigfoot, or you know, like fairies and stuff. Like people, mermaids. Like people talk about seeing all of these things, and like they have like these close encounters. Like, I don't know, Randy. Like if it's, I can't say that it's not real, because if it's real, if a person's saying like, I experienced it, I felt it, I saw it, I tasted it, I got goosebumps, like who am I to say like it didn't happen? Tasted the air? I don't know, the cold air.
My dumbass thinking something a little more. Anyway, um,
You're so dumb.
the um, yeah, I love that VeVe's kind of getting into horror. Like they have Chucky, but they also have the new La Cruce, the floating head
Bro,
NFT.
that floating head is wild.
Yeah.
That is scary. That is scary, scary. Um, do you know? My kid is into like horror. So like I horror, like I don't know if you've ever heard of Junji Ito. Have you heard of Junji Ito?
No, tell me about that.
He's a Japanese artist, and it's all horror. Look him up. But it's like really like horror stuff, like gory and like weird shit. But my kid was into that like growing up. So like she has like all this horror stuff, you know? So like it's always been really scary to me. Like I don't like scary things. Max made me watch Insidious once, and when I tell you, I was so scared. So as a kid, like I had nightmares, and like I was a really scary kid. Like I didn't like the dark. I still don't like the dark. I keep a light on all the time. If I go anywhere that's dark, I need to have a light on. I just feel like I always need to be in light. Um so yeah, that head is scary and
I like
creepy. Yes!
Clarice's.
Oh my god! That is so creepy.
Check the
Oh, I
VeVe.
love.
Yeah, yeah,
By
that's
the way, I love Clarita stuff. I love her, love her, love her, and all her content that she makes. But that one is creepy, girl, and it's scary, and that's gonna
yeah,
give me nightmares.
yeah.
Yeah, my best friend doesn't like scary either. I will watch. Okay, here's where I draw the line. Okay, so I'm not religious by any means. Like I am very spiritual. I do believe in good and not so good energy. I don't want to immediately say bad, but oh my gosh, Max is so horrible. He's so wrong for that. You see what he put? That's from Insidious. Don't. Oh my god, don't.
Okay.
That song gives me like
You don't like Tiny Tim? Okay, all right.
no. Have you ever okay, I'm so sorry, but have you ever seen him perform?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I mean, guys, please don't think I'm a mean person. I'm really not, but he also looks like a little bit scary. And I know it's coming from passion. Like he's very passionate about his music. He really, really is. But I don't know that song. And you know what? It probably has nothing to do with that man. It has nothing to do with it. It's the song and how and it's that movie and how they use that song. And that
It
song
might
just
also
gives
be
me
where you know him from, because you know him from that movie. But
right.
when I first heard him was from SpongeBob, where
Oh,
they goes like,
really?
yeah. So in like the first episode, where the nematodes are taking over the Krusty Krab, and SpongeBob has to come in with this epic spatula to make all of the food so that they don't take over the Krusty Krab, and it's Tiny Tim saying like, "I do what I like to, and I'm free as any daughter." And SpongeBob is like making these patties to the song, like, "And asking how I love you," and he's making these patties and he's flipping them through the window, like to the hungry nematodes, and or the anchovies. I'm sorry, and the anchovies are just like as this song is going, I'm like, I don't got a lot, I don't need a lot, coffee's only a dime. Like you see like this chaos where Squidward and Mr. Krabs are like they're about to die. Like the anchovies are making waves, and Mr. Mr. Krabs is just like, batten down the hatches, Mr. Squidward. We're taking on water, Mr. Squidward. I want my Bobby, Mr. Squidward.
You
And
sound
like
just like
they're
him.
about to like die through these waves, but then SpongeBob comes in and through the song, it's like a montage. It's like an epic like anime music video. Um, he comes in and he saves the day. So I know Tiny Tim through that song and through that episode of SpongeBob. So when he sings through the tulips, it's almost comforting to me. And maybe you should watch that episode of SpongeBob.
And you know what? If I would have heard that song and not like it be connected to that scary movie, I would have loved it because I love tulips. Those are my mom's favorite flowers. But yeah, I can't. That song, Max. Oh my gosh, you should have seen how Max tortured me. Like I would be in the shower, and he would start playing that song. Yes, yes. And I would be like, stop! And Max would just
Oh
be
no.
laughing and laughing. Yes. Like he would torture me with that song. And sometimes he would play like if we're driving at night. Oh my gosh. He's my husband's just always like a little prankster. But yeah, horror, this is what I was gonna say. Like I'm very spiritual, right? So I will not watch horror movies that are surrounded by like negative energy, like or like demons or like possession type things. Like I can't do movies like that. I can't. Only Randy
Magic
can
says
compare
only
horror.
Randy can compare
Exactly.
horror to
Only
SpongeBob.
Randy.
Randy's computer, like RAM is legendary. To see SpongeBob either, I was scared. Ah, bro, how emoji? How have you never seen SpongeBob? My God, my God. There is a TikTok song about it's either tulips or it's like an old '50s song that's become popular. I forget what it was, but it's like sometimes people can take something that's scary or old timey and make it like, oh, this is really dope. This is really cool. Also, I do have to make well, I have to pee again, but I have to make my link for the OMI Homie show in 90 minutes, and I have to eat and I have to do other stuff. But I would like to ask you one more question
Sure.
before we
Shoot.
go. And take it back to aliens. I know you had said
Oh.
before, like what you would tell aliens why to watch Gilmore Girls, but if you could tell right now any inhabitants of this Earth or another Earth, what would be your message to them? Regardless of what universe they're in, what Earth they're on, what's the message you want to say from this time?
Um I would tell aliens. I probably tell them first like I'm a really loving person. Please don't eat me or probe me. And I hope that's not offensive. I would also tell aliens like We have a lot of beautiful things here in this world. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I would want to learn more about, you know, what they know or what they feel, because I would tell them, like, you know, as humans, we feel, as humans, we absorb, as humans, we see a lot of beautiful things. There's a lot of beautiful things here. I would ask them to see the good in humanity and not see like the negative parts. And I would ask them to be open, you know, to us.
Okay. Good. I like that answer. We'll talk off air. I mean, still on camera, but off air for a minute. But everyone, thank you for joining. This is great. I feel like we could do like another 2.5 hours, but unfortunately, time constraints. Today we're not able to, but soon.
Sounds
Everyone
good.
say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. This was
Bye.
great.